Well, I think what's really clear is the Israeli government has lied about everything that took place on October 7th, and they're using those lies to justify a genocide and a systemic bombing campaign against civilians in Gaza right now. They told us initially that nearly 2,000 civilians died on October 7th in the Al-Aqsa flood. We then come to learn out that it was only 1,400 individuals who died. Then they revised the numbers again. Israel said only 1,200 individuals died. Then they published the names of the individuals who died, half of whom were military personnel. We've seen the videos of the Apache attack helicopters firing on positions which appear, but we can't be for certain, they appear to be civilians and hostages and Hamas fighters all running about. We know that Israeli forces called airstrikes on their own positions in Israel that were being overrun by Hamas fighters on October 7th. And I think we have to give credit where credit is due to the Israeli media outlet Haaretz for getting this source on record to say, hey, look, we can confirm, even though it might not be made public in the official report, because governments never like to admit their war crimes, especially war crimes against their own civilians. But we can confirm that it was an Apache attack helicopter that was responsible for some of those deaths on October 7th, the Israeli deaths. We all know how those Hamas fighters came over. They came over on paragliders with rifles and homemade RPGs. They didn't have flamethrowers. They didn't have tanks. They didn't have helicopters. So what other reason could there be for how those individuals died and were burned to death?
Well, if this had have happened, surely they'd be covered more widely in the press and we'd see more evidence of this incident at that music festival, this alleged incident.
Well, there were actually individuals on scene who reported having seen a helicopter attacking positions on that very day. Some media outlets are claiming otherwise, but I've seen Haaretz, for example, cite this very fact. So we know that there was helicopters that were called in by Israeli positions and air bases. We know that this helicopter that Haaretz cited came from the Ramat David Air Base. And we know that, again, Hamas could not have burned homes, burned cars, burned bodies to a crisp with rifles and RPGs. They don't have that sort of heavy weaponry, at least in the Al-Aqsa flood. They didn't on October 7th. And that leads me to believe that it was Israel who was responsible.
Oh, Jackson Hinkle, political analyst and host of The Dive with Jackson Hinkle. Thanks so much for your take on that report in Haaretz.